Alright, I'm gonna make a video on how to set up a guitar. A Telecaster, to be in fact, sorry about that. Squire Affinity Series Telecaster. This is a friend of mine's. It's a very affordable guitar. It's around the below 200 range, and what was wrong with it was this pickup was lifting up and she had to raise her string height a mile high. Don't know if you can see that. Focus. You might just have to take my word for it. Oh, there you go. You can see it. And because this was rising, she raised it up, and she didn't ask me to fix this. I saw it and I was like, hey, let me fix it. I'll take care of it for you. So we've already removed the strings. I'm pretty sure you don't need to know. You don't need to know how to do that. But I'm gonna try to do some tricks, and I'm gonna show you what happened, because I feel like that might be a common thing. This is the first time I've ever worked on a Fender or Squire guitar other than my Strat. But I took the pick guard off. You see the cheap pick guard that comes with it. Now, when I saw this, I was pretty confused, because usually there's a bigger cavity and a cut that goes to follow this. That's the ones that I've seen. I don't know if that's just something they don't do, because you can see the wires. I guess they just did a drill bit that goes straight through, or something that conjoined with this and then went there. But this doesn't make me very comfortable. So I guess this was so that you could just take the pick guard off. You could wood fill these little holes and then just paint that the same color, but oh well. Now, what happened here was, the reason it was lifting, my god, my camera's horrible, was I guess someone pushed it in or did something and this screw was loose. Here, I use this. It's okay, so this screw right here, I guess, was just really loose, and some guy pushed it in and it popped right out. And you know, when with Telecasters, get this on, they don't have the screws up here. It doesn't screw onto the pick guard. The pick guard is mainly just there to keep your guitar pretty. So I guess I just pushed it in, and how I'm doing the height so that I know the pickup is going to be alright is I'm going to base it off of the fretboard, because the strings, let's say, will be around right here, and right here it's a lot easier to see. The strings would be right here from this pickup, but we are lowering this, remember that. So I'm not going to put the pick guard on until the very end, so that I can see where I need to put these, or this pickup at least. So I know that it's in, it's not going to be jumping out or whatever. But that's what we wanted to fix. That's what we fixed. Now, setting up a guitar, you just set it up to the specs. Main reason, this thing is a mile high. I gotta lower all these. I gotta clean this up, actually. Now the way I do this is I just get I use an old bandana, just because I have a lot of bandanas. You can use a rag, you can use whatever. I have some cleaner. I'll show you what I use. Just a second. A lot of people make fun of me because I use the name brand. This stuff works. This is the guitar polish. I also use the fretboard oil, because that stuff works. It lasts you a long time. I've had that for a couple months, and I set up my own guitars. I set up other people's guitars, and you know, this one I'm doing for free. Oh, and by the way, when you're working on a guitar, use a soft surface. I use my bed just because it's a lot easier for me to use, and I could move this around, I can shake it, I can drop it, and it won't get scratched, and I don't have anything to worry about. I have a blanket there just in case I need to cover it. Just like having a blanket just kind of helps. But I usually don't get anything on my bed, so I don't worry about it. And setting up, you'll need obviously your screwdrivers. I got this whole set for like $2. They might not be the greatest, but they get the job done. an extra screwdriver, because these are different sizes, but you always want to have an extra one. Some wire cutters to cut the strings off. That's a balloon. These are all the screws from the pickguard. And I have a box of tools that I use. So here's the cleaner. Here's some, this is a new tool that I just might need. This is pliers, needle nose pliers actually, that you need. Pocket knife. A sponge I use to clean the fretboard when you have some fret dirt. It's a very wiry sponge. It's like almost like steel wool. I don't like to use steel wool on electric guitars because it gets all caught up in the pickups. Unless you tape them off, then that's different. But it does get the dirt off, you know. I could use sandpaper or whatever, but I don't know. And I have an arsenal of Allen keys. Now what these Allen keys are mainly used for, I'll use a different. Let's find it. Here it is. This is an Allen key, like Swiss Army knife. It's hard doing this with one hand. But let's get this out. I really do need a stand for my camera. Well, let's do this. Almost there. It is a little dirty. It has every size of Allen key that I'll basically ever need. And it has a really small one, the very last one, if you can see that. Well, that goes for these. You need Allen keys to adjust this. Obviously, these little things. Where's my screwdriver? Whoops. Okay, so these little circles, those are Allen key entries to adjust the height. You'll also need one for the truss rod. Now, the truss rod may either be up here or down here. I'm actually going to be taking the neck off of this guitar to clean it up and maybe do some work. I don't think I'll have to do anything. There's no sharp fret ends. But I will be taking it off to see if there's a date. I like to do that. And but yeah, first thing I look for is the main place that most people put them, which is right at the nut. And some brands, I know Music Man does it. They put them right here. I know the old school vintage guitars put them down here, especially Fender. You would have to take the neck off, and it was a screwdriver bit at the end, and you put a screwdriver in and you tightened it or loosened it. But with this guitar, the neck is pretty straight. I don't think I'll have to do anything to it. Yeah, she takes care of her guitar. So, first of all, what was I gonna do? I made this video a little awkwardly. Here's what we'll do. So, this is gonna come on. I'm gonna raise this a tiny bit. I'll do that on camera. Now when you're raising it, you're gonna be turning to the left, which is loose, and that raises it. Let's see if I could do this like this. It looks about right. Let's put the pick guard on to see. I think I can use this. Oh no. Never mind. That looks. Let's see if the camera will show it. I'm happy with that. I'm not happy with that. See, here's the thing. I prefer, with a pick guard at least, that you screw the pickups into the pick guard, you know. That's how it normally is. But no, not with this guitar. That's just not a thing, I guess. I don't have any guitars with pick guards. I'm not a huge fan of them. They look alright, but they do make things hell of a lot easier. But you see, this kind of pick guard is just in the way of what I need to do to the pickup. I will most likely be adjusting this pickup height. By the way, if you do ever buy a Squier Affinity series, I recommend that you change the pickups. yeah, if you're a beginner, these pickups will do you just fine. And I'm not going to change them for her because it's not what she wants. I would change them immediately. These, they're a little bit bland and they're a little bit boring. But can't do much about it. Everything with electronic wise is completely fine. I might just clean it up in there and maybe look at the wiring. But basically setting up, I showed you what tools you'll need. I'll show you what you need to do. A cool trick setting the height is, I don't have one with me, is you get a quarter. And once you have the strings on, if at the 12th fret, on the fret, not the wood, the fret, you put the quarter on and it slides right in perfectly, touching both the fret and the string, maybe pushing it up a little bit, that's the perfect height. That's the thickness of a quarter is the same millimeter like size that you will look at if you look up at the specs, and that's basically for every guitar. You will have to adjust to the curve of the fretboard. This curve is pretty flat actually, kind of surprising considering it's a Fender made guitar. But that's basically it. If you have any questions, just let me know. But Telecaster, the first one I've ever worked on, which is pretty cool. Maybe it'd be cool to own one of these. You see, I own Ibanez. That's my kind of thing. If you could ever see it. There we go. Yeah. So hope this helped you guys. I'll be uploading more videos on setting up guitars, fixing things. I'm rebuilding a guitar, so maybe I'll make a video on that, don't know. Alright, so if you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you later.